Milan Kundera and his novel The Unbearable Lightness of Being, and the movie version by the same name. Kundera gave the producer his permission for full artistic license to interpret the novel as they saw fit in the movie. The opening scene of the novel is several pages where a philosophy where Kundera describes Nietzsche's Nietzsche's eternal circle of eternal return, namely the idea that everything that's done in history is doomed to be repeated. That if, for example, Robespierre and his horrific beheadings during the French Revolution, Nietzsche's idea, if it's true, then we're doomed to have an infinite series of repetitions of French revolutions and Robespierre's. And this one can see is circular for obvious reasons. The alternative is that there's no repetition, that everything is a straight line, and that is the unbearable lightness of being. In other words, the idea that nothing is ever repeated, but furthermore that there are no consequences to what we do. And like as Dostoevsky has one of his characters say, if there is no God, or if there is no repetition, then all things are permitted. It doesn't matter what we do or if we do nothing. Kundera describes the circular case of Nietzsche's eternal return like being nailed upon the cross with the heavy burden of the knowledge that everything we do will be forever repeated. But the unbearable lightness of being, it's unbearable. If opposed to this heaviness, there's the lightness that everything is a straight line. And nothing is repeated, which means that, in a sense, there are no consequences to what we do. Now, a key clue to pick up on in our analysis of the novel is the fact that Thomas' pet dog is named Karenin, which denotes the husband of Anna Karenina. In Russian, a woman married to a man named Karenin would be Karenina. And the opening line of Tolstoy's novel, every happy family is alike, but every unhappy family is unique in its unhappiness. And here we have the contrast of happiness and sorrow. Tomas plays a game regularly with the dog Karenin by holding a muffin or a bun in his mouth and teasing the dog while the dog tries to grasp it. Kundera says that Karenin, the dog, expects and demands this repetition and regularity in this relationship. Kundera further states that the animal, humanity was cast out of the Garden of Eden, out of paradise, but the animals were never expelled from paradise. And so their happiness is a form of circularity. We see at the end of the novel that Thomas and his lover drive into a white fog, and we see no violence, but we're informed that they die in an auto crash. But the next scene is a flashback to something earlier. They're in a small tavern. The music is playing, and the frivolity as they ascend the staircase to their little room that they've rented, which is number 6 on the door. Now 6 is the first perfect number. Plato makes a lot of that. Augustine makes a lot of that. It's the first number that's the sum of its prime factors. 1 plus 2 plus 3 makes 6. So they open the door and turn the lights on, and they disturb a nocturnal moth who was resting someplace, and the moth flies up and slowly circles the room. And now the moth is a creature, and the moth is moving in a circular fashion. So whereas the automobile driving into the white oblivion of the fog is driving into a straight line, And Thomas' desire for multiple relationships is kind of a circularity. And he falls in love with a woman who desires monogamy.